Good day, my friends. Good day and a happy Sunday to you on this glorious day for us to be alive. At least in this particular iteration of life. I'm not saying this is the only version of life. It's the only version of life that we know. The other day we happened to be talking to a friend of ours who passed, and someone said, "Do you believe in the hereafter?" I said, "No." Doesn't mean there isn't one. You asked me if I believe in it, and I'm saying, no, I don't believe it. There's no evidence of it. But it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice if there was something else? All we know is now. This is it. So let's make the most of it. My friends, today I'm going to take you on a journey with me. And I'm going to say, first of all, thank you so much. I love you so much for being with us and being a part of this thing that we do. I think it's the greatest assemblage of raw intellectual firepower, and I mean that sincerely, and that is you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to tell you about some stories about a Christmas party and how I learn from things. I cannot go to a CVS without drawing some inspirational motivation by virtue of what I see. I'm not exaggerating. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about the latest. Again, I'm trying to readjust you back onto the correct framework regarding Twitter files, free speech, expression, censorship, and the like. You know, in the old days, you saw these pictures of when they were trying to make the rails, and the rails had to be straight. And sometimes, by virtue of warpage or sun, there would be these moments of these little moments where you have to go in with a big pipe and big steel rod and kind of stretch it back and straighten the rails again. That's what I'm going to do. I want to straighten your rails because, and this is not meant to be gratuitous, you are the smartest people I know. Let me say this again. Believe me when I'm telling you this, and I may God strike you dead if I'm lying. You are the only people I can talk about these subjects with. You are the only people who would even entertain this. I'll explain this to you in great. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about free speech and just a host, a veritable host, a litany of subjects for your edification, perusal, and review. And I thank you, of course, again for being here because it means, like I said, it means a lot. I don't think I ever thank you enough. So let me make sure I do that now. A couple of things. First of all, remember, on January 14th, we're coming up on a month at the Cutting Room. If you think this is interesting, I think you do. You have not seen what we're going to be doing on January the 14th. A chance for me to come out and meet you, of course, but for like-minded people to be in a room where you don't have to worry about somebody, where everybody agrees. And the assemblage, the groups of people that we have in one room is worth the price of admission. Plus, the chance for me to come out, play some guitar, do some music, little gut bucket, greasy funk, and then intersperse my particular didactics and my performance, whatever that is, which is written that day, maybe sometimes 5 minutes before I go to stage because the news is protean and changing. But you are there, immersive, collaborative, not heckling, but participatory. We have cards, we have microphones. Nobody does this. So that's January the 14th. Please, I would so love to have you there, and I would be honored by your presence. And I'm going to put this up. The link is right here for you. Just go to it. This is the link. Please come out. Mrs. L and I will be there, and we want to see you and just spend some time with you. That's that. Number two, as you know, I've talked to you about this, and I want you to heed my warnings, to heed my calls regarding food emergencies. This is something that has never gotten better, but for some particular reason, the sock puppet media believe that it's just good not to bring this up. Just don't talk about this. You know, don't bring it up. But my friends, as you know, the world is fractious and becoming more dangerous with every passing day. And it's time for you to make sure that your family is prepared for severe food shortages will occur. Okay? That's why My Patriot Supply is going the extra mile to make their emergency food as affordable as possible. How are they doing that? They're taking $250 off their 3-month emergency food kit, which is the minimum your family should have, the minimum. This kit provides delicious, easy-to-make breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks for one person for 3 solid months. So get one for each member of the family while you're able to, and while you can save $250 during this timely sale, which ends soon. Remember, My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest preparedness company, with millions of families already protected. These 3-month food kits are in stock and ready to go. Your order ships fast and free and arrives in unmarked boxes for your privacy. So go to preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com. Those who know what's going on and what's coming are using today to prepare. Are you? That's the question. Preparedwithlionel.com. I want to tell you what happened last night, which is very interesting, I find, which is an interesting story, okay? Mrs. Ellen and I went to a Christmas party. It's very, very nice. And I want to tell you about this. Has this ever happened to you? I, despite what you might think, tend to be someone who does not want to embarrass people or make people feel ill at ease. And I do everything in my power not to do that. I don't go out of my way to do it. I want to be respectful and courteous as much as possible. But last night, it was very interesting. Very old New York-y. Really funky, great place. Used to be a speakeasy, kind of downstairs, and it's really great. The music, they're playing Jobim and Elise Regina, and just really funky, and it's not loud. I couldn't believe it. Really, people were dressed up in old Christmas time. Anyway, this guy, this pseudo-intellect, sidles on up to me, and he's sitting next to me. And his breath. I'm trying to explain things. There was a vagrant one time in New York. The worst smell I've ever smelled in a human being. Ever. The worst, and I've smelled bodies decomposing. I've smelled a lot of stuff. But that was kind of usual because, you know, you've smelled putrescence before, but this was different. This was something, and as my eyes are tearing, I'm thinking, what is it? It's almost like piscine. It's fish-like, but organic. And you know how sometimes there's a great sommelier on YouTube, and he'll drink something, and he'll say, honeysuckle, camembert, little cardamom, little blueberry, little whip, and he has these great descriptive flavors and flowers and taste to describe these wines. I'm trying to think of what this was. I'm thinking, rendering plant, roadkill, something organic, not inguinal, not axillary, more some kind of a weird, perhaps maybe it's an old wound that hasn't healed well. It might be, I'm trying to describe it. It was horrible. And as he's talking, I'm turning, I'm getting away like this. And no matter how I try to do this, it's apparent that I'm going. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I talking too loudly?" I said, "No. Your voice is just fine." So he lowered his voice and got closer because he thought he was yelling. I said, "No, your voice, no, please." It was horrible. Just time stopped. Einstein was right. It stopped. So anyway, pseudo-intellect, boring, absolutely awash in vapidity, insipidity, vacuity, emptiness, voidness. He was void and devoid of anything even remotely interesting. Fancied himself an artiste. Anyway, you don't want to hear about this. But here's what happened. This one lady was there, very, very nice. She's there. She goes, "So what do you do?" I said, "Oh, no, I hate this because I don't know what to tell. What do you do?" It's a way of saying, who are you? Who are you is what they're really asking. I said, "Well, don't ask me what made me say this." I said, "I'm a professional philosopher." He said, what? I said, yep, I'm a professional philosopher. Wow. And what do you do? I said, well, I philosophize about legal and media, among other things, political, and politics. Oh, you mean politics? I said, well, no, because everything is politics. Politics is everything. In fact, always go back. Always go back. If you look at philosophy, lover of wisdom, that's whole thing, philosophia. But politics, always look at the derivation, the etymology, the etiology, the teleology of it. The activities associated with the governance of a country or the area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or parties having or hoping to achieve power. Yeah. But it comes from, this is interesting, the origin is Middle English, politique, via Latin from Greek, politikos, citizen. It's citizen. And there's polity and politic. All right. I always love to do that. Please remember, if I teach you something, always go back, always stop and say, where does this word come from? Where does this come from? What's the difference between ask and inquire and effect and affect? And it was so funny, there was a person today, he was talking about pronouns who was using him. People use he and him, she and her, who and whom. They don't know this. Also, past tense. I should have went there. Things like that. It's not good. Anyway, so we were talking. I said, now let me explain something to you, and let me explain this to you today. Let's take, as an example, the Twitter issue. You are not understanding the Twitter files issue at all. You're missing the point. And I'm going to say that. And I can tell you that because you'll appreciate this. You'll get it. To some people that we identify, perhaps sometimes incorrectly, as the woke left, they are saying it's really much ado about nothing. They're doing everything in their power to say it really does not exist. It's a waste of time. Do not be surprised if there is a rampant, listen to me carefully, pay very, very close attention, if there is not a rampant proliferation of that which is considered to be hate speech, racist speech, and even improper sexual materials. Why would that be? Let me say it again. Be not surprised if you see either actual or reported more hate speech, more, I don't want to say impolitic, but hate speech, racist, homophobic, transphobic speech on the media today. Why do you think that is? Why? The answer is simple. It would be incumbent, and you always have to think about what is the enemy, not the people are the enemies, but what is the opposite side? What is the adversary? What are they going to do? The best way to show that Mr. Musk is the wrong guy at the wrong time in the wrong job, to show that constraints and limitations and guardrails and protection schemes and all this, why they are necessary. The best way to do this, the best way, I say to you, is simply this. The best way is to make things seem out of control once he's in power. Raise the amount of hate. Raise the amount of dangerous speech. Raise the amount of sexual materials to say, see what happened? This is what you get when you get this libertarian, free market guy, just some neoliberal whatever. Always have a name for someone. Remember this rule. Always call them something. Call them something. Call them a name. Even if it doesn't matter, call them a postmodernist, absenteeist, make one up, neoliberal, just something, a right-wing this, hate, it doesn't matter. Always give them a name. You're going to be seeing a complete and total, again, I say this, not an actual necessarily, but a reported increase in these things. Why is that? To show that order was required. To show that when you remove these protective devices, when you remove the barriers to hate, when you remove the guardrails and remove the pads of the cell, that people hurt themselves. So that's that. The next thing to do is to remind yourself, what are the effective responses to this? Because remember, this is not about Twitter. This is about censorship. The issue is censorship. Let me also back up. Remember, censorship has been with us since the beginning of time. It is very common for those of us in the business to think, it's never been like this. How many times have you said it? It's never been like this. There has never, ever been crime like this. There has never, ever been anarchy or whatever. How many times have you said? You've said this a lot. I had a conversation one time with a man who since deceased, who was what you would call a wise guy. Absolutely old-timer from real legit. Okay? And a gentleman from an old school, not justifying what he did. And by the way, I say that he was a wise guy because I know I've read his, in doing work, and I've reading the files and the transcripts and the indictments, and I know he was who he was. He said a couple of things. Number one, keep this in mind. When he was a young man starting out, there was no FBI. In New York, there might have been 5, maybe 10 total FBI agents. FBI used to be a joke regarding organized crime. And the reason for that is, I'm not going to bore you, but it goes back to the days of Hoover, and maybe it is believed and posited that Hoover might have been trying to protect people. And you've heard the story that Roy Cohn had perpetuated, that Hoover was caught supposedly in a dress, and these pictures were used to blackmail, and the whole thing with Clyde Tolson. Anyway, so let me go back to what I said. He said there were maybe 5, 10 people. What does that mean? That means, and the FBI, do not kid yourself. I know it's very popular to say Christopher Wray is this. The rank and file, front and center, frontline FBI agent is an honorable, necessary tool of American law enforcement. There are federal crimes, there are federal statutes, there are bank robberies, there are things that need to be investigated, and they do an admirable job. The CIA has done wonders in protecting our country. They're not going to tell you because they can't. They've also done some nasty stuff too. NSA, they've done some things too. So don't ever think that, because we get into this, the FBI, the DOJ. Oh, no. Oh, no. There are assistant U.S. attorneys in Wichita doing a wonderful job. Anyway, he said, do you know the crimes that weren't even reported? Do you know the crimes that you didn't know about? You want to talk about victimization before there were federal agencies? It was wild. The 1920s might have been the worst period for crime. Why? Because it wasn't reported. We didn't even know. We know more, so we report more, and we think there is more. Let me say it this way. There are parts of the country, years ago, before when drunk driving, there was drunk driving really came into being, believe it or not, big-time laws in the 60s. And they started to look at the role of alcoholism. Anyway, there was a concerted effort. Drunk driving arrests went through the roof. Why? Because they weren't enforced. So people said, the drunk driving problem now is worse. No, it's better. It was worse when you didn't even know it was there. Now let me say something right now. I just gave you 2, maybe 3 different analogies, metaphors, analogs to explain a course of discussion. I promise you there are at least 20 people saying, I don't know where this guy's going. I don't know what he's talking about. Because we don't know how to think. We don't know how to stop and underline. When you write, when you take notes, and you have a highlighter, and you underline things, you say, you point things out. This reminds you, this emphasizes, this is critical, this is important. That's what I'm trying to do. Listen. So what you're doing right now is you're thinking, this is the worst time ever. No, there was worse censorship. Worse. The Smothers Brothers, Vietnam, CBS kicked them off. Why? Because what they said about Vietnam. You don't think that's censorship? Wow, that was different. Why is that different? Lenny Bruce, Mort Saul. You want to go back? Oscar Wilde? Do you want to keep going? No, because you think this is the worst. You think because Trump was kicked off or whoever, that this is the worst. This is, we've never seen. No. It's not even remotely worse. It's different. It's not worse. Doctors who noticed for the first time pediatric cancer. There was a time in this country where pediatric cancer was not unheard of. Maybe infantile, juvenile leukemia when it started. But there was nothing like this. Now, is pediatric cancer worse? Well, it's worse, but it's not cancer. There always was cancer. It's a different kind of cancer. There's a different kind of censorship. And because many have for the first time awakened and say, oh, now I'm aware. Oh, this is terrible. Did you see what they did? Here's the Twitter feed. This is what they said about Trump. See, they're trying to shut him down. Duh. As people say, you didn't know this? Well, you didn't know this. Well, I knew it. Do you think you have the right to be on Twitter or YouTube or Google or Facebook? If you're banned, is that against the law? Is it? So what are you doing? Kevin McCarthy says, we're going to call the first people, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call intel agents to say, why did you do this? Stop. Translation, I'm not going to do anything because I'm in on it. That's what some people think. The GOP pretends, controlled opposition, by God, we're going to get... No. Let me try this for you, okay? Let me try to bring you back around. If I said this, you want me to get shut down in the Congress? Okay, I'm Kevin McCarthy. 2 things we're going to do. Number 1, we have right here the articles of impeachment that we're going to file immediately against President Biden. Boom. Immediately. And after that one fails, we're going to do it again. We're going to file another one. He's going to be impeached 3 times. We've got 2 impeachments, 3 times. Okay. 3 times. And we're not going to get a conviction. No, we know that. It's not going to be convicted in the Senate. But it'll be 3. And we're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. Watch what happens. Now you will say, yeah. Republicans might say, yeah. But the inner core of GOP says no. Why? Because we're the Democrats. 2 sides of the same coin. 2 sides of the same coin. This is a sterling silver coin. It's got 2 sides. It's the same coin. You turn it around, it's beautiful. This side is different than this side is different. It's the same coin. They're the same. That's number 1. Number 2, The issue is, the sole issue, the only issue, was Twitter put under the position of being a proxy, an agent of either, don't say the deep state, police state, intel state, shadow government, ruling class, whatever. Was it a proxy for the government? Yes or no? That's it. You're not going to hear anything even remotely close to this. And you're going to hear two respected journalists, Barry Weiss and Matt Taibbi. Why were they picked? First person you should be suspect of, write this down, is the person that Elon Musk picks. Why them? Why not Glenn Greenwald? Why not? You want to go down the list? Why not? I don't know. If it matters, why not? Why not Thierry Masson? Why not? What? Why not? No. First person. Why they pick those people? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? Wait a minute. You're giving me the files, yeah. Can I look at the raw data? No. No, we're going to give it to you. Can I see everything? Can I see the exculpatory information? What is that? I want to see the information that basically takes them off. Have you heard this? Only one Twitter employee was against this particular paper. Only one. Well, there's only one? See, when you're a defense lawyer, you want to get discovery. I want to hear something from you where the detective says, I don't think this guy did it. Or, we've got an alibi here that really could. No, I want to hear that. So I'm going to say, let me see the raw data, and I'll decide. Oh, no. Come on, Elon. Come clean. Let me see everything like WikiLeaks. Boom. And then you decide at thousands and thousands. No, I'm going to give Matt Taibbi. And Matt Taibbi, Matt, do you want to be the star? Yes. Matt, this will really put you on the map. Yes. Now, Matt, don't go crazy now. Oh, no. No, Matt. Don't. For example, don't even think about saying anything in favor of Jack Dorsey or anything. Don't ever say, well, actually, to make a long story short, they actually have some good program. Don't do that, Matt. Oh, no. And here's Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is saying, oh, no. Don't worry. I'm going to make Matt Taibbi look like, whatever. Oh, no. Give it to me. Because I'm the one. I got Substack. Okay. Barry, don't let me down. I'm not going to let you down. Okay. This is a big move for you. You're like the Ralph Nader, the Woodward and Bernstein. You're it. I picked you. Don't let me down. Because if you let me down and you say something that, like, there's nothing here, or, hey, wait a minute, where's the other documents? Or, there's stuff missing. You'll be a grease spot. Okay? Oh, no. The first person to be suspect of is the one that says, here, look, we have a witness. Uh-huh. Okay. Let me talk to this person. Oh, no. Don't talk. We have a confidential informant. Who? Well, unnamed sources say, who? You found this? Woodward and Bernstein, Watergate. Where'd you get this information from? Oh, from the Watergate. Who? Mark Felt. Who's that? That's Deep Throat. Who are these people who were the burglars? Sturgis, McCord, G. Gordon Liddy, Intel, FBI, or CIA, Bay of Pigs. Are you the Cubans? Wait a minute. They're the burglars? You got those people? CIA? Wait a minute. What? And Woodward, your Navy intel? You were intel? What? And they were given, follow the money. Come on. Let me tell you something. The biggest story ever was that how Woodward, on one Saturday morning, he woke up and he said, hey, there's this burglary. Okay, I'll go. Nobody wanted it. I was the new man at the Washington Post, so I went down there by myself, and I said, okay, I'll do it. I'm going to do my thing. And I went there, and lo and behold, oh my God, I heard him say CIA. Next thing you know, boom, boom. That was a soft coup. That was to get Nixon. Now, Nixon was an idiot, of course. But see, people are so gullible because they want this. When you go to Lourdes, when you want to see a miracle, when you want to believe in miracles and prayer, you, especially when you're desperate, let's face it, it's a very human thing. You are not about to be objective and say, well, listen, I mean, come on. You know, how many people go to Lourdes and aren't cured? And is this guy a friend? No, because you want things to be. That's why we have double-blind tests, because you want there to be. And you want this to be the final, this exposition of this inherent a fraud on the part of this woke. Look, you want this. You want this more than anything. And your expectations are occluding your everything. Okay? Now the issue that you must understand, first and foremost, is that nothing is what it appears. Nothing. Okay? By the way, Christmas is just around the corner. Wouldn't you love to make that special person in your life happy with an official Lionel Nation mug? This thing is a weapon. It weighs 15 pounds, and you can grow koi in here. I've had this one. We've traveled with it. You can't break it. You can't. I mean, it is. Anyway, it's a part and parcel of this incredible potpourri, this phantasmagoric fantasia called the official Lionel Nation store. Hey, I'm going to give you a link to that. What do you say? It's the least I can do. Why? Because I'm that kind of guy. I am that kind of guy. All right. Now, so what's happening? Well, you're believing everything. You're believing that this is the biggest thing. And it's not your fault. You want this. You need hope. You need hope. Elon Musk is, he's such a work. He is the best promoter ever. It's all the wrestling. He brings the heat. It's babyface versus heel. He's the good guy, the white hat, the babyface. And hey bots, stay tuned. Where does this come from? Tuesday night at the Armory, Gordon Thole. Let me tell you something, Arn Anderson, the American Dream. Remember this, Dusty Rhodes? Tuesday night lights out match at the Fort Homer Hester Armory. 6 man. Remember that? It's beautiful. And you're going to be there. Vindication. The good guys. Finally. Hey, you woke lefties, pay. See what's happening? You've been beaten down for so long. Just like when Rand Paul would say, hey, did you see Rand Paul give it to Dr. Fauci? Yes. You thought that meant something. You thought things were changing. You thought this whole biomedical martial law, tyranny, whatever was. No. You thought that because you were led into believing, because you wanted to believe it. There has been improper, as far as I'm concerned, improper and over-the-top interference with the arts and with whatever, since the beginning of time, since Frank Capra. Do you recognize that? And since we've always had this. What do you think the HUAC was about? And this notion of, this is so funny. Somebody said, oh no, the House Un-American Activities, that was about pinkos and that was legitimate. Really? You really think that Dalton Trumbo was going to bring down the United States? Did you think that? But there are people here who in this weird kind of an uninformed right-wing conservative, they're uttering and reiterating this, I guess, this McCarthy lunacy, using the same tropes, the same memes, the same memetics, the same vectors of thought, same thing. They're the worst. You're missing the point. No. They were nothing. That was this wonderful moment of this perfect mixture of the government and corporate. You want to talk about fascism? Corporations and statism and corporatocracy merging together, working hand in hand. That was fascism. People think of fascism, I don't know why, as the March on Rome in 19... By the way, this year, 100th anniversary, March on Rome. When was that? Did we miss it? Wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, dear God. Hang on a minute. I think we did. March on Rome. Remember, always research. March on Rome was October 1922. It was the 100th anniversary. This was the beginning. This was when the National Fascists, the Fasci, in the Kingdom of Italy, it was a century ago. We never even talked about it. That's what people think when they think of fascism. They think of this, always some jackbooted thug, who's yeah, that's a version of it, but that's... No. This is it. This was during Vietnam. Nixon's enemy list. Now, listen to me carefully. This is where my real suspicion part. This is where I start to really get. This is where maybe I'm paranoid, or maybe I'm just not paranoid in terms of a delusionally. I just don't trust anybody. I would love to walk into Mar-a-Lago, or wherever the hell it is, and ask Trump or somebody, this is the third or fourth time you've been handed something on a silver platter. What are you going to do about it? Now, I know he's got to be careful with Twitter because he's got Truth Social and yeah. What are you going to do? What? If I were Trump, every time I would speak, I would say something without saying it directly. What makes this country great is the power of the citizen. And the citizen's first enemy, from the time it walks this earth, is not the government, but those who seek to parasitically control it. You see, every time something happens in terms of a pathology, it's something that's good that goes wrong. What's cancer? Cancer is cell division. What's wrong with cell division? A lot when you can't stop it. Oh. What is anxiety? By the way, everybody's got anxiety today. But what is it? Well, nervous and trepidation is one thing. But when you can't control it by virtue of neurotransmitter problems, that's a different story. Everything that is wrong, every sort of psychosis, whatever, is a normal behavior that's been hijacked by something else. Everything. Sometimes there's pathologies like gunshot wounds. That's an accident. That's not normal. The first thing the government wants to do, it's a cancer. Cancers want to move. Cancers do not want to remain in situ. They hate that. They want to grow. They want to angiogenesis. These are new blood vessels that start to grow, to feed it. How many times have you heard of somebody dying of lung cancer? Goes, he never smoked. That's because it's an opportunistic. It's beautiful. Lungs, liver, brain. It moves. Lungs are great. A lot of blood. Good. Liver, lymph nodes. Good. And then you're on the super highway of death. That's what cancer does. It wants to move. And the first thing that somebody did was they said, they just elected a mayor. Yeah. I'm going to control the mayor. I'm going to control the leader. I'm going to control the chief. I'm going to control the village elder. I'm going to control this. It's the first time somebody said, let's have democracy. There was a wise guy immediately thereafter said, and I'm going to own him. I don't want to take the heat. You do it. From that moment on. So nobody got rid of politics because somebody dared to corrupt it? No. But that's the way it works. The government never comes out and tells you specifically, hey, listen, they don't even take credit. I'm Joe Biden. It's not Joe Biden. Don't blame Joe Biden. I know. I'm not going to tell you his name. It was a dear friend of mine. He wrote a new book, and he said, and it was a really great interview. And then he said, and that's why Joe Biden. I said, wait a minute. Wait. I was with you. It's not Joe Biden. Don't blame him. He's not doing this. What are you talking about? It's the people who control it. People have always wanted to control your speech. Tipper Gore wanted to control. We just want to have warnings. They've been wanting to limit your speech since you started speaking. Keep it down. Don't say that. That's blasphemy. Copernicus, Galileo, keep going. Do I have to remind you? Einstein, they thought was a lunatic. He wore women's sandals. Remember that? He did, by the way. This is nothing new. The issue is that it's state action. That's the issue. That's the only issue. Frank Capra we called it propaganda. Capra, Jack Warner, Louis B. Mayer. During World War II, dear God, anti-fascist. And do you know who were the most predominant, the most vocal patriots during World War II? The mob, Vito Genovese, Sicily, they were it. We're going to help. Why? Because they wanted to go after the fascisti. Who was that? Mussolini. And Mussolini threw them out. Look up the guy, Cesare Mori. Oh, he was like the Torquemada, the torturer. Threw all the mafiosi out. They were furious. World War II comes along. Hey, U.S., we can help you. Thank you. Come on in. Good. We live in Sicily. We know where everything is. We know where the sulfur mines are. Sulfur you need for explosives, we'll take care of it. By the way, we got Vizzini, we got Calogero, what's his name, Cassiofero. We'll help you out. Great. Oh, one more thing, America. What is it? Listen, after the war, we're going to leave these guys in charge. Of course. Vizzini, yeah. And the mafia was born. It's perfect. You remove one problem and put it with another. But it didn't matter because at the time, Cuba. Perfect. We got to get this Castro. Here come the boys again. Santo Trafficante, Carlos Marcello. Hey, listen, we were in Cuba. We were doing great under Batista, but this son of a gun threw us out. We'll help you. Now OSS becomes CIA. Same people, World War II. Johnny Rosselli was the intermediary, and all of a sudden you have these people. And these people, the American mob and the CIA, work together. We'll help you. We know exactly, but we want to go back. Of course. Okay. Operation Mongoose. Bay of Pigs. Kennedy. I'm going to go on and on and on. It's always somebody trying to get into power. I want to control. They're called lobbyists. They're called unions. What do you think the teachers' union is? It's an infiltration of the education system by an organized crime, the mob called the teacher, Randy Weingarten. It's beautiful. What did the mob do with the Teamsters? Pension. Nothing wrong with unions, nothing wrong with pensions, but do you see where this works? So who's controlling Elon Musk? Do you think, seriously, that he is this altruist who says, you know what? My fortune be damned. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to give Trump back his Twitter, and everybody's happy. And you're so thrilled with this. You are beside yourself. Thank you. What are you talking about? Don't you know what's happening here? Huh? This is a work. Ask the questions. Wait a minute. Do you think that the shadow government, deep state, ruling class, when they meet, they're going to say, what are we going to do about this Elon? I don't know, but he's making us look bad. damn, if only we had some kind of power. Don't be surprised if somebody's on the phone and say, Elon, listen, you're doing great. Now, here's what you're going to do. Next week, you're going to throw out these guys, okay? And you're going to declare Twitter safe again, okay? Got it? Yeah, good. Yeah, whatever we can do. You're doing a great job. Yeah, and call us whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, you call us name. Yeah, bye. Click. It's beautiful. Everybody's just going crazy. And Barry Weiss, this is my favorite. And Matt Taibbi, you don't even know. You say, oh, that's good. Well, they're journalists. What? There's nothing worse than the obvious. There's nothing. Remember when the dentist used to give you candy? Remember that? Did you ever do that? First time. You're at the dentist. They got this little bowl. They have one of those, like an old candy shop, you know, where you have the candy and there it is. And it's beautiful. It's right there in front of everybody. It's gorgeous. And you think, wait, this guy who drills teeth is giving us candy? Wait a minute. Hold it. You don't think he knew that? You don't think the dentist knew that giving you candy promoted cavities, which would require you to come back to have them drilled? You don't think so. I mean, you know, it's everywhere. And then what happens is, now, the people in charge, when they saw what we were doing and that we were over the target, see, it's a very simple thing. You fly, you know, and here are the bad guys over here, and you're over here, and everything's fine. You've got a bomber, and right when you're here, when you're over this target, that's when the flak starts. Bah, 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 bah. 'Cause that's where it is. It's common sense. You don't attack somebody where you're not, and you don't attack somebody who's not threatening you. But when they threaten you, to all of a sudden they said, we've got to do something. So what did these geniuses do? They created this world of language. And language is the greatest. Language stops you because you don't want to be called that. You are so timorous, so frightened, so scared, so unbelievably disjointed by virtue of being called something. And you see, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, no, wait. Forget it. I take it back. No, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, no. What is a conspiracy theorist? I don't know, but don't let them call you that. Okay. And when you keep saying it and 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 saying it, it means something. It creates heft. That's hate speech. What? It's hate speech. And my favorite? Disinformation. Not misinformation. Disinformation. Interesting. Let's look at this for a moment. Always research words. Let's look at misinformation. Let's look what the definition is. Just for the fun of it. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive. That's a lie, by the way. This is misinformation, okay? Okay. Now, let's look up disinformation. See if there's a difference. Disinformation. Hang on a minute. Let me try this again. Disinformation. Okay. Misinformation is false or inaccurate. Examples include rumors, insults, and pranks. Disinformation is deliberate and includes malicious content such as hoaxes, spear phishing, PHISH, and propaganda. See, I like this. So these are two gradations of it. One's more benign and anodyne. The other is more misinformation. Might be saying, well, that's just wrong. In law, we call a lie and perjury the misinformation of fact with the intent to deceive. We throw in that deception part of it. See, without the intention of deceiving, it doesn't really matter. So because disinformation, if I say, oh, you look great, and you don't, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to mislead you, but it's a good thing. So see how humans love to do this? We love to do it. Did you hit him? No. Okay, it's assault. It's attempted battery. It is? Yeah. I touched him. Now it's battery. But I didn't hurt him. Doesn't matter. But I was going to shoot him with a gun, but I missed. Well, different. You know, we love to do this. We don't just say, that's wrong. No, it's first-degree murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, murder 3, felony murder, manslaughter, culpable negligence, second-degree murder, you know, reckless disregard for the safety of others, culpable negligence, depraved heart. That's my favorite. Depraved heart. We have a depraved heart murder. The guy's dead. Yeah, but it's different. I didn't intend to do it as depraved heart. It's a secondary murder. Manslaughter. Vehicular manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter. Involuntary? Well, what's voluntary? And if it's voluntary manslaughter, well, there is no voluntary manslaughter. That's not insurrection, that's sedition. What? No, actually, it's seditious conspiracy. Conspiracy? What? We love to do this. And that's what I do. It's what I learned to do. Oh, I can phrase things? Oh, my God. Oh, Your Honor, he did break in, yes, but he didn't intend to commit an offense therein. He just wanted to trespass. Oh, okay, so it's not burglary? No, it's not burglary. Okay. You see what's happening? And you fall for this because you've suspended any kind of conversance with common sense. Now, you know the big story is, what's going to happen with the GOP? Is Ronna McDaniel out? Is Harmeet Dillon in? What about the My Pillow guy? Don't you love the way they call him? The My Pillow guy? That My Pillow guy is Mike Lindell. And whenever somebody tries to speak, whenever somebody is pointing, whenever they say, this guy can't talk, no matter who he is, I love him. They're my friend. Whenever somebody is told, you can't speak, you can't talk, you can't talk, we don't want to hear you, I want to hear them. It's the surest fire way of doing it. Well, right now, Mike Lindell at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, has the biggest bed sheet sale ever in the history of humankind. And aside from being a First Amendment a maverick and genius, he is one of the most successful American businessmen of all time. And I want you to go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Look at the overstock sale, up to 80% off. The slippers, people say, the most comfortable slippers anybody's ever seen. People want to wear them with clothing, outside, with tuxedos. That's coming up. Mrs. L just laughed. My Pillow's as low as $19.98. How about bed systems? And a mattress sleep, a system. I like that. Is it a mattress? No, it's a system. It's a system. Wow, damn. He's got it. So mypillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel and get a free gift. That's right. I love a free gift, by the way, which is oxymoron. No, it's a tautology. It's a tautology. It's like saying the female uterus. Well, though today that might be completely different. Anyway, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, promo code Lionel, promo code Lionel, mypillow.com. Mike Lindell, do yourself a favor. Okay, my friends. That's it. I think I've lectured you and hectored you enough. Let me tell you something. Remember, I want you to think. I want you to think, and I want you to think, and I want you to read. And I want you to always ask yourself the question, why is he telling me this? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? This is the way they want me to think. Oh, I see. Know when a crime scene's been staged. No one's saying, wait a minute, this is, no. They cleaned off this. No, this is the way, this is what they want me to believe. Happens every day. And let me tell you something, and listen to me, and you're not going to like this, but I'm going to say it. You know how they say in the mob, the one who always, if you're going to get whacked, they always send somebody you know. They send your best friend. It's never some stranger. The people that mislead you the most and the people who lie to you the most are the people who are, I'm sorry to say this, the prototypical left. Excuse me, the right. What am I saying? The right, the GOP and others, will feed you a line of garbage. The left says, hey, listen, this is what we believe in. I look at CNN headlines and MSNBC and Yahoo and this to see what they're saying. They make no bones about it. I understand them. I get it. It's this group It's the people that are supposedly trying to protect me that are doing it. I don't know about that. Because my biggest, if you want to see, I'd love to take you on a tour of Fox News. I'd love to have a class with you, watch any class, stop the tape or whatever, the tape, and say, now, did you notice that? What are we not hearing? Why are they saying that? Notice how they changed the subject? Notice how they didn't spend enough time on that? Notice what they're not saying. Notice how this show is different than this show. Why don't they? You have an affirmative duty. If my parents lied to me, that's one thing. If my neighbors lied to me, it's another. They don't owe me any duty. My parents did. You're lying to me. You're my parents. I expect something from you. You're supposedly looking out for me. That's the way it is. But the others don't. And the biggest, let me tell you something too. And I never want to be in a world where this is the truth, but I wish we could have a BS detector. There are people on podcasts and who don't know what they are talking about. I mean, nothing. And I would not change, God bless them, they are profoundly, meteorically popular. And they say nothing. And the reason why they're popular is because they say nothing. They're easy to digest. It's like a salad bar. Ooh, look at this. Shrimp versus chickpeas. No. Shrimp. Which is better for you? Who cares? I want the shrimp. That's expensive. And it's free. Yeah, but that's what it is. There are people who are just, oh my God. Remember, I expect nothing from for shorthand purposes, the left. They're doing their job. I got it. I got no problem with that. I really don't. Believe me, I don't. If you're going to box, I've got no problem with my opponent. I got to have an opponent to win. Right? But the right, oh my God. Breaking news. And the ones who sit around and say, I'm just so glad to be an American. I love my country. These Marxists are going to ruin our country. Don't you understand the meaning of the Lord? And when they talk to me about how Jesus is, wait a minute, hold it. Now, keep Jesus over here. This is not about Jesus. This is about Twitter. It's about the GOP versus the DNC. Don't bring Jesus. Don't blaspheme Jesus into this. Don't say Jesus or Muhammad or Abraham or whoever. Leave that out because you don't know when to stop. And that's because of the communist infiltration. Praise God. And the Marxian and the Marxists and the Engels. And one day good. And that I do so many experiments on Twitter, you have no idea. I wrote a tweet. If ever you see this, I said, what's worse, estrogen or testosterone? Now, why is that important? It's a Rorschach test. There's nothing there. When I hold up an ink blot, it doesn't mean anything. You tell me. If you say, what is that? That's a serial killer destroying a small family. I'm like, wait a minute, hold it. And this one says, I see a bunny. This guy sees carnage. What does that tell you? It's what they respond to. People watch the way they respond. If you're on Twitter, put up something. Put up something like, what's worse than hate? Just a general question. Here's a great question. A great icebreaker. What's the nicest thing anybody ever did for you? And what it does is it makes you got to stop and you got to go through your memory. Wait, hang on. Wow, that's a good question. And it makes you, it's like the card catalog. I never even thought about that before. It's great. Yeah. So when you ask a question, I love this. And I'll say Joe Biden in one word. And you know why? You know why those questions are the most popular? Because they're easy. And also, take something that you write something, why is America the greatest country? Or why is it not? Whatever you want. And then put the same question an hour later, but with a picture of a flag. Watch the reaction. If there's a picture, they answer. If there's not, because there's reading. I do a newsletter. I hope you subscribe to it. People will ask me, don't make it so long. What? What? I can't read. I don't read. I don't read. So don't, are there pictures? No. Oh. Remember, the people who are going to betray you are the people that are your friends, the people that are close to you. You know, keep your friends close. Believe me when I'm telling you this. You are being led down a primrose path. And the answer to this is very, very simple. It's for you to because I'm the philosopher. I'm a professional philosopher now. I just did call myself that. Is to redirect and reorient yourself and the way you look. Put on new glasses, new means of analysis. Learn new critical thinking skills. Be more skeptical. Be more suspect. Listen to people, but always start off with the premise, this person's lying to me. Or maybe not lying, but this person's wrong. Or this person doesn't have the story altogether. And you will never be wrong. My friends, I thank you. January 14th, I want to see you at the cutting room. Please make my day. Meet your fellow travelers. January 14th, tickets available. You can see it right here. Don't forget preparedwithlionel.com. It's only, food preparation in the case of an emergency. Kind of speaks for itself. mypillow.com/ or promo code Lionel, the great Mike Lindell. And also, I want you, Mrs. L is absolutely, let me tell you something, Rob. I'm going to say it. Elon Musk, this business about you can bring all these people back, but the most dangerous person, on Twitter today is Mrs. L. So follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. You understand this? You got this? Lynn's Warriors. And there's the leak right now. The link. And I mean that sincerely. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this moment to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your sagacity and your sapience and how mentally adroit you are. I thank you for that. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, have a great and a glorious day. Spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, and do something stupid and fun like put together a puzzle. Play Scrabble. Play cards. Play Old Maid. Remember when you were a kid, Old Maid? Wasn't that great? Do you ever play with a kid and all of a sudden, like there's this one card that sticks up? Remember that? I would always, if I had two cards, even as a kid I knew, if the Old Maid is here, push.
I think they stopped selling Old Maid.
Yeah, Old Maid. Isn't it terrible? Old Maid. Spinster. If you're an old maid and you're a man, you're a bachelor. Remember Orville Redenbacher? The Old Maid's unpopped kernels. Think about that. Unpopped. What does that tell you? But Old Maid, when I was a kid, remember that? You just, here. And you learn a poker face. You learn strategy. It was so important. Old Maid was great. Remember Chutes and Ladders? Ooh, loved it. Hi-Ho Cheerio. All these stupid games were great. Loved them. And they seem so dumb. Lincoln Logs were great. Just looking at like, what the hell is this? Oh, there's a notch. Oh, okay, I got it. And when you were a kid, the little donuts the concentric donuts of various sizes with that little pole or pyramid or whatever, this pyramidal post in the middle. And you have to figure out, oh, I see, ascending. Okay, I got it. You don't realize that, do you? You don't realize how important that was. Do you know that I have a friend who's a 4th grade teacher? And because kids do not play ball, and because they don't throw, and because they don't do things that we do, judging distance, and they can't track when they read. Because they don't do things, they can't hold a pencil. They don't hold a pencil. Do you ever see people write today? If you think, by the way, always look at how they hold the fork in America. When you cut steak, the left hand is the funniest. But kids are not learning depth perception and things that we thought were trivial by virtue of our game playing. In any event, I've lectured enough. Thank you so much, and I mean that. Have a great and glorious day. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.